Should you stay solo as an independent consultant or build a team and create a consulting firm? That's one of the most common questions or thoughts that tend to come into people's minds as they're building their consulting business. And if you're like most consultants, you probably left your corporate career or your previous employment because you wanted greater freedom, you wanted more flexibility, you wanted to be able to make a bigger impact, have unlimited income earning potential. And maybe you were also tired of managing other people and just office politics, and you really want to be your own boss. So you transitioned to become a consultant. And as you're starting to see more success, your services and you are in greater demand. Now, what happens is that most people tend to kind of run up against capacity issues, right? More people want your expertise. You're getting deeper and deeper into work with a certain group of clients, and maybe just even a few clients. But you're starting to feel that you're running up against a ceiling, right? It's harder to scale. It's harder to get to that next level. And when you get to that place, this is the question that starts to really come into people's minds is, should I stay as a solo consultant or should I transition and build a team? And what's interesting is that people often, again, leave the corporate world or leave employment because they don't want to deal with managing a team. Now, some people right off the bat they're very clear they want to build a consulting firm or they want to have team members and they don't want to just be themselves. But many people begin, right? They start by just doing everything themselves, and that's the way they want it, right? They're happy doing it. They love that freedom and flexibility. But as you become more successful and as you start to think about getting to that next level, the thought process to at least have or to consider is how big of an impact do I want to make? If you truly want to have a bigger or greater impact than you are having today, it's challenging to do that all yourself. And here's what I mean. It's not about necessarily having to go out and hire a whole bunch of full-time people. You can work with freelancers, contractors, right? You can look at ways of productizing your knowledge and expertise. But what most people find is that in order for them to get to that next level, to be able to create greater capacity, to be able to have a bigger impact on more people, meaning more clients, and have the ripple down effect of what that work produces in terms of outcomes or solving problems or results or how it benefits people, you can't do it all yourself, right? And so this is where it becomes important to start thinking about where do you create the greatest value? Where do you really want to be spending your time? And if you are still a solo independent consultant, right, you're likely juggling many hats. You're doing a lot of different things, and many of those things aren't what you really should be doing, right? Whether it's your bookkeeping or whether it's posting on social media or doing research or design or updating your website, a lot of different things that you likely shouldn't be doing. These are things that you need to outsource. You need to delegate. So start thinking about that if you haven't already, right? Because to make a greater impact, to be able to grow to that next level, to scale your business. And I'm not only talking about revenue and profit, although those are certainly important considerations. But if you want to be able to impact more people, if you want to be able to grow your business, you can't do it all yourself. And you're going to hit that point sooner or later where you want to consider that decision. And there's no right or wrong. Some people are happy to stay as independent solo consultants, but many, and we've seen many clients over the years that have come into our Clarity Coaching program. They've transitioned in some cases out of corporate, or they've been a consultant for several years, but they want to grow. And for a period of time, they'd be happy to just be or remain solo independent consultants. But then they reach that mindset, that place where they go, yeah, I'm really seeing great results. I'm charging higher fees. I'm winning more business. My services are in greater demand. Okay, well, I need to bring on an assistant, or I need to bring on somebody to help me to deliver projects. And from there, it starts to become much more exciting because they've switched their mindset. So it's okay to start off thinking that you're going to be a solo independent consultant, and over time recognize that, now I actually am excited by this idea of building a team, but I'm going to build a team. I'm going to build a company the way that I want. So don't rule out the idea of managing people or building a team, that it has to be something that is unenjoyable or that you would dislike, because when you're in an organization, you don't always set all the rules. But if it's in your own business, you get to create the structure and the environment and the culture that you want, and have the right people around you. And that's where it really becomes exciting. I remember for myself, the first time that I started to kind of see that, years ago, I didn't think about, or I wasn't as excited to have a team and to build a business that way. I really wanted, both Sam and I, at Consulting Success, we really wanted to keep things lean, profitable, nimble, small, lifestyle-based business. But over time, and although we still very much value a lifestyle-focused business and putting lifestyle first and having a business that supports it, the possibilities, the potential the impact that we're able to have, that we've been able to have and continue to have by building a team is so much greater. And so I just thought I'd share a few thoughts, because I know many people kind of reach that point where they're either very set in their mind initially that I want to remain solo independent consultant, but then over time, right, I've seen this transition happen so many times now with clients that we've worked with over the years, that I just thought it might be helpful to put that perspective out there so that you can consider where you're at. And of course, if you have any questions or you want help to bridge that gap, or to have a strategic plan in place so you can figure out how to go from where you are, whether that's just you right now or whether you have a team of 2 people, 3 people, 5 people, 10 people, but to get to that next level of growth in a sustainable and consistent way that works for you, feel free to reach out anytime. Have a wonderful day.